folks. This has been James White week. I've been doing a lot of looking at a lot of James White's material this week, and I just got done watching 2 of his debates today. They were about stuff I'm not interested in. Not really interested in him going on about Calvinism, whether Calvinism is right or wrong. The funny thing is, he did to his opponent in this recent video about Calvinism that he just did, he did to his opponent what his opponents do to him. He decided not to talk about any of the things that go on with Calvinism. He just wanted to show that these people that are against Calvinism, that he knows the scriptures very well. He understands the scriptures and what they are interpreting. Okay, well, that's what a lot of Catholics do to him. They skip over all the crap that goes on in the Catholic Church, and they just say, well, we know the scripture just as good as a Protestant, But I've been watching a lot of James White this week. He's got me all fired up. And I want to thank God for the people that, even though they might be a cult, I don't know. Some are cultic, some are not. I want to thank God for both of them because they have preserved God's Word. I mean, I've realized again, last night, that the New King James, I got a couple of them here. I got my personal size Nelson Study Bible. The personal size is my big one over there. Got my open Bible here, and I got about 3 or 4 New King James over there. The New King James is the only Bible I found out today, because my MEV made a boo-boo. It made a boo-boo that it shouldn't have been allowed to make. Found out today that my New King James is the only one that truly follows after the Textus Receptus the way the King James did. Okay? Again, I found out today that my MEV got a lot of modern translation problems. I should have known when they messed up Philippians chapter 2 that they would also mess up some other places when they had a problem with just letting 2 Samuel 21:19 be what it is in the King James. Okay? I should have known that it's going to have other problems in the book of 2 Samuel, and it did. I was reading in 2 Samuel today. Just felt like reading a little bit about David, and I came across 2 Samuel chapter 11. I'm going to show you why the King James and the New King James is the only Bible that I really, really trust. I like the MEV. I will continue to read it compared to those other versions over there, those modern versions, those versions that are, but remember I told you, even in the Hebrew, it's not just the Greek New Testament, it's not just the Textus Receptus. It's the Hebrew as well. And this is the 3rd or 4th time that I found out in the Hebrew, your modern translations are off. They're off about stuff. It's not just the Textus Receptus. Somebody needs to talk about the Hebrew text that you're using, because they're off. And I'm going to show you a boo-boo that was fixed in the King James. It was fixed in the King James. Right at the same time, right around the same period, they fixed 2 Samuel 21:19. This was fixed. I'm going to show you in a number of translations, including this MEV, what's not fixed. It's fixed in the King James. The King James fixed these things all the way back in 1611. The translations between 1611 and 1769, any translations that were there in between those two times in history, okay, didn't get this right. 1611 got it right, okay, and it was completed, and it was done right again in 1769. I looked these verses up, all the verses that I've been complaining about. I looked them up in the Old King James. Now the Geneva, I might show you that too, because I have it on my site here. The Geneva, the Geneva held the boo-boo. Even the Young's literal translation, I looked at it, held the boo-boo. It's a boo-boo. It is not scripture. It is a boo-boo. And all the modern translations, even the 2020 NASB got it wrong. Now, you know who tried to help out? Who tried to get it right is the CSB, the NIV, oh my God, and the NLT, oh my God, and the... the NASB got it wrong. Oh, the Net Bible tried to fix it, but instead of fixing it, they set it up so that it can go either way, and that's just wrong. No, Bathsheba's purification was done before David's men came and got her. It was done before she left her home domain. She did not get purified after she slept with David. She did not stay with David for days and then get purified and then go home. And the purification is not her cleaning up her body after David got finished with her. The purification is the purification in Leviticus chapter 15, to where if a woman is on her period, and it tells you what must be done, that no man can come near her. She can't sit nowhere, she can't go nowhere, she can't do nothing when she's on her period. Okay, in those days. Okay, so when David got done with her, okay, she had already had her period. Any bathing that she did before David slept with her, okay, after David had slept with her, was just natural bathing to hide evidence. But she knew what's about to happen. Now, I watched the video today hoping that it would talk about the purification process, because that's where I'm going. But none of them would talk about it. None of them, they would just say how everybody has their own opinions about the story of David and Bathsheba. Well, what's the Bible say about David and Bathsheba? Well, look at the translation, even the MEV, there's some issues in there with the story. But she only left with David's men. Whether she knew the assignment, knew what David was up to, or whether it was because you're on your period, you can't really leave the house when you're on your period. You can't walk outside like that. I don't know. We'll read that. But her purification was before David's men came and got her. That's what the New King James and the King James is saying. And just one word in there, the word for. This is the King James. This is a translation that the grammar gets a lot of things wrong, but it got that right. And you know what? This is the thing. When I see stuff like this, it tells me that The people that are competing against Erasmus's work, the Textus Receptus, the people who basically went after the King James, because it's not just the Greek, it's also the Hebrew. We have big problems with the Hebrew. Nobody's talking about this. The Hebrew is just got as many errors as there is in the New Testament when it comes to these modern translations. And I went through a dozen today. Even the Amplified Bible got it wrong, but it left a note saying that basically, why didn't you just go back a verse, okay, and fix it? When he slept with her, she had just got done with her purification. She was pure enough for sex before David's men came and got her. All you had to do was go a verse backwards, but no, it left a big star there and put a footnote down there. Okay, but in the old Amplified Bible, that lets me know another thing. In the old Amplified Bible, they got it right. It's for she had just completed her menstrual cycle. In the old Amplified Bible, the one I don't like, it's got it right. But the new one got that wrong. It translated it not because it's right. And that's the thing. There's a lot of stuff being translated in your modern Bibles. It's being translated that way not because you agree with it or because you disagree with the King James, or not. It's being translated like that because it is a copyright issue or a law issue or something like that. Oh my God, They are translating Bibles without clear, honest preparation. Whenever they update a version of the Bible or even come out with a new one, they decide, first of all, what text is it coming from? Okay? And then they alter the text. Well, they don't alter the text, but according to the text, they alter things a little bit, okay, so that the Bible will be different enough. And they have like a list. This is where these people, 52 people to 40-some people in a committee. Oh my God. You telling me, okay, now the King James had 50-some people. I thought it was 40-some like all the other. But there's either 30-some, 40-some, or 50-some people in a committee when they do these translations. It's a shame that some of the translations that were done by a single person are better than the ones that were done by 40-some people. But the King James was done by 52 or 50-some people. Okay? It kills me that we are this sloppy with the Bible. 2 Samuel chapter 11 about Bathsheba's purification is sloppy textual work. It is. It's sloppy. And it's been sloppy for years because I can go all the way back to 1611 in the Textus Receptus, and it's already fixed way back in 1611. But all your modern versions, well, I take it back. If I was to maybe go back in the 80s and the early 90s, a lot of your modern versions would probably fix it, or probably have had it fixed, like the Amplified Bible. It's got it fixed in the 1990 something or 80 something, 1983 I believe it is, 1983 or 1987, one of the two. 1983 edition, the Amplified Bible got it right. But in this 2015 edition, it went back in time to before when things were fixed and decided to just because why? They couldn't leave well enough alone, so what they did was it's just like these study Bibles today.
They're charging you more money for a study Bible where they took half of what was in it out. They're going to charge you more money today for a Thompson chain that's got less in it. They're going to charge you more money today for an open Bible that's got less in it. Now the KJV ER Sword Bible, less in it, they're charging you more money. And on we go. And then this is why we're failing in the church. How are we going to stand up to the world when we can't even stand up to little textual issues like this? And now you've embarrassed me, all my critical text fans. You've embarrassed me in front of the King James onlyist people. Because they are right. For 2 days now, for 48 hours, I've had to deal with them. To James White getting up there with his arrogant butt and doing a sloppy job, okay, on explaining himself as to why he wants to go up against an ancient book instead of its revisions like the New King James. He wants to go up against the King James to prove his point, okay? You know, I've had to deal with that and some of the other debates he did and his whole arrogance with it. For what? The LSB doesn't have it right either. Everybody knows, no one's going to argue with me, that her purification, she was pure from her menstrual cycle before David's men came and got her. Not after. That's an error. And how long has it been an error? The 1611 King James, the 1769 King James, and the New King James are the only Bibles that got it right. Even Texas Receptus Bibles got this wrong. And this is the thing about the King James. If this is a problem in the text, or if this is a problem in the manuscript, I agree with the text to fix it, because we clearly know from study that somebody miswrote or didn't write enough in the manuscript or in the text, wherever the error is found. But it's fixed. Okay? The reason why the critical text will fix some things but won't fix others, to me, is a rivalry. That's what it is. The reason why your critical text version, your modern day versions, while they will fix one thing, but won't fix others. Or it'll fix a few things that happened during their span of time, but they won't fix things that have always been an issue in the Bible. Okay? That's a rivalry. They're doing that on purpose. This scripture, just like 2 Samuel 21:19, a few chapters away, okay, this being an issue is done on purpose because of rivalry issues, because of rivalry, and because, see, King James people, Erasmus, and even the people that put together the Hebrew text for the King James, they look through this King James with a fine pen, and they proofread it. They went through it again and made sure everything was right within their time and their abilities. Okay, New King James, same thing. And the editors of the New King James talk about, leave the New King James alone, we're not going to touch it, with a big smile on their face. Because they want the New King James to be the survivor of the Texas Receptus, like its grandfather or its father, the King James. So I don't have a long video, and let me finish here.
They're doing this on purpose.
They're doing this
the
on purpose.
MEV, I don't think they made a boo-boo. I thought they made a boo-boo. So I said, where'd they get this from? Then I realized that every Bible I have in this house, except the New King James
and the
King James, got it wrong. Every single Bible in this house, and I have a lot of them, got it wrong. Okay? The NLT did a pretty good job on it. They tried to help. Okay? The NLT, the New Living Translation, to me that's I don't like the New Living Translation. Now, I don't know what the new one says. I don't know what the newest one says. This one here goes back in the early 90s or something. Okay, but the New Living Translation one I got it right. The old Amplified Bible got it right. But my Geneva over there got it wrong. But at least it's trying to help. So is the Amplified Bible, the New Amplified Bible. It's trying to claim, it's trying to it puts it in brackets like there was a miscommunication of her purification there or something. But they don't leave a footnote. They don't leave a footnote about the purification. They just know that at least the Amplified will take you back to Leviticus 15. Where you'll find out, well, her purification had to happen before she slept with David. Okay? But the way you have it worded is like she went through her purification like she took a bath after David got finished with her. And that's not what happened. What happened is when David's men came to get her, she was free to go with them because she had just gotten done with her period, with her menstrual cycle. Okay? And, every Bible that I have, including my MEV in this house, got it right. Only the New King James and the King James got it wrong. And this is why, even though the King James is archaic and all like that.
I meant to say every Bible in the house got it wrong. Only the New King James and the King James. Even my MEV got it wrong again. But every Bible in my house, except for the King James and the New King James, got it right. And these are things, like I have to go to Facebook and go to the MEV Council. Because these are people who were able to push them to rush the MEV update. These are the people that kept on pushing till we got ourselves a 2024 update, which they done a good job, but I don't know if it's because what the Hebrew that's used for the critical text version is easier access or what, but either this is coming from a different text of Hebrew, a different Hebrew text, or they're just translating off of other modern versions or something. But I don't know where they got it to put it in here. Just like I don't understand why, if they are Texas Receptus, and you claim, the preface to this MEV claims that the MEV, that the King James is the base manuscript for this MEV. Well, then why didn't you copy off the base manuscript and get 2119 correctly? Why didn't you copy off your base manuscript, Mr. or Mrs. MEV, and get 2 Samuel 11 correct? I care about these things. Maybe you don't care about these things, but I care about these things. And these things let me know that even though you got all these modern translations, and they're all so fun to read, are people really reading them? How do you read 2 Samuel and you don't see that? Nobody's complaining about that. It bugs me that no one's putting their foot down and saying, hey, we got a problem, y'all. It gets me aggravated because the only people that are really raising this voice about it are the cult of the King James onlyists. They're the only ones that are constantly fighting these issues. Comparing verses to verses in other Bibles. Until they come up with one that's like, oops, I wasn't listening, but yeah, that one there, yeah, boy, that's bad. That's bad. That's really bad. And so even though I'm not part of the cult of King James onlyism, I listen to them because of stuff like this. Can we trust anybody? This is why the King James onlyist people, the Research Council, don't want James White or Mark Ward or nobody on the other side trying to tell them how to translate or read or anything of King James. Because here the MEV claims to be Textus Receptus, and how many places, in especially the Hebrew, where I found out that it does not agree. It says in the preface to this Bible, the King James is the base manuscript for this Bible. But yet it does not follow the King James in several places, both in the New Testament and the Old Testament. And I'm getting a little angry. And I have to take back my sweet words. It's going to cause me to not really read my, this was going to be my new favorite Bible. I'm rethinking that now. Because how do you let the critical text or the whatever Hebrew text they're using come in here and infiltrate what's going on with the Textus Receptus? Infiltrate our good biblical tradition. Now I see why King James onlyists won't let the New King James or they won't let anything go past 1769. Anything past 1769 to them is anathema. Well, there you go. Here's a Bible claiming to be, part of the base manuscript of the King James. If you read in here, it comes from the same Hebrew and the same Greek text. But it's got all this modern day error in it. If I want that kind of error, I'll just get rid of my Texas. I'll get rid of all my King James, KJV, New King James, all stuff, and just get me a CSB. Get me a New Living Translation. If it's not important of what purification is for a woman in the Old Testament, if that's not important, why don't I just get a New Living Translation and accept that it wasn't righteousness that we're filled with in Matthew, it's justice. See what I'm saying? If we're not going to care, why should we care? Why should we care at all?
I'm so glad that I read it. I don't just have one. I'll actually read it. I'll look at it. I have the KJV, and I have a footnoted King James over there. And then I have a regular Cambridge King James over there. Don't have nothing in it but just the King James. And I have a paperback King James around here, over here on the bookshelf. But I'm telling you. So I'm going to show you in just a second. Okay, I'm going to show you. What's going on here. Alright? Alright. And you're going to find out that what you really need to do if you want the truth of God's Word, and if you really love your critical text, if you really love your modern version, if you really love your NASB, if you really love your CSB, if you really love your ESV. I did look at the ESV. The ESV got it wrong. I just looked at it a little bit ago. I'm pretty sure. Now, the one I looked at was one online. Well, it was the one at BibleGateway.com. I looked at the LSB, the James White version. It's got it wrong. Because they're not translating a lot of things in the Bible based upon study. They're just translating from the text. Remember I said in the last video I did, they're translating from the text. They're not going to the manuscript. This is what I'm telling you. You don't fix anything. You're only fixing certain places that it just comes to your attention to fix when you update a Bible. You're not going through it and fix.
They're letting people. They did this with this MEV too. Okay, I told somebody on the council on Facebook when they were saying, "Oh, can we try our update?" Who are you? Our update to come out and blah 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 blah. And I told them, I sent them a text. I says, "Is it really about us, or is it about the Bible? Is it about what the founding fathers have already done, what they've already brought down to us? We're just translating it better. We're not supposed to move away from. It's not up to man what the Bible says. Okay? The words of God and the words of Christ are in this Bible. And the patriarchs that put it together are what make up the Bible. We're not going to come after it and continue the Bible. We're going to take the Bible that we already have and just make it better, but we're not going to add more words and phrases to what's already there. You know, that just goes, you know, even with Tim Frissell's book, the title's wrong. I don't know exactly the contents of the book, but Tim Wildsmith's book, Translations for Everyone, that's wrong. There's no such thing as translations for everyone. Okay? It's translations that work. Translations that get the job done. Translations that are the best. It's the best translations. It's not translations for everyone. And this is what they're doing today. A lot of these translations, like the ESV. You look at the changes in the ESV. It came from pressure. The new ESV is either 24 or 25. I think it's 2025. I'm pretty sure it's 2025. Just came out. It's pressure from people that are investing in the ESV. In any other translation, it's pressure. They're putting pressure on the editors to give them the Bible that they want, to make it say what they want it to say. This is the end, folks. This is the end of Christianity. This is the end of the Bible age. We're done. All we have is a few old, hairy, gray old men, okay, in homes, and don't nobody ever see them on the street. They're in there with their King James Bible, holding it, and hiding it, and they take it out and hold it, and they take it out and they hold it, and they're trying to protect it for dear life because they're trying to destroy everything that the founding fathers of our nation, the founding fathers of our Bibles, the founding fathers of the faith, everything that they passed down to us, they're getting rid of it. You're getting rid of it. You people that don't read and study these things and say, hold up, what's going on here? You're not asking questions. You're saying, oh, translations for everybody, but when the translation comes out and it's got a bunch of boo-boos in it, well, let's move on. No, let's not move on. We should be able to use every verse of Scripture in this Bible. Not just some of them. Oh, gets me angry. Help me to calm down.
Fixing the problems that have been there throughout history. only have one Bible now. My MEV just disappointed me really bad. I'm wondering how many other things did they try to keep up with other texts and leave unfixed in here. And what's his name? The 2014 MEV. Tim Nichols said that he only could get as far as the book of, I think he said he got to Leviticus and he couldn't take no more. I haven't noticed anything wrong between, the only thing I've seen wrong in between when I was reading the book of Exodus, I saw some words that will run into each other, and that's in the 2014 version. I checked that in this version, it's good. Now this is still one of my favorite versions, but what I don't like about it is that I have to go and check with my New King James or King James to make sure I gotta check this with my New King James and my King James, because it is not completely going, it is not translating the Hebrew the way the King James is translating it, and therefore there's some things that are wrong. Any person out there that's not saved, that don't know anything about the church or the Bible, can look at this and tell you that what is that? That's wrong. Something wrong with your Bible, man. And it's the Hebrew and the Greek, and we talk about the Greek. James White loves to talk about the Greek. Hey James, let's talk about the Hebrew too. See you soon.
Alright, folks. Let me go to here. Open this up. Alright. Here we are at 2 Samuel 11. Here's the ESV. What's it say here? This is one of everybody's favorite version. What year is this? Okay, this is 2001. This is not the update. The update is 2025, I'm pretty sure. It just came out in January, I think. Let's read this. In the spring of the year, this is 2 Samuel chapter 11. In the spring of the year, the time when kings go out to battle, David sent Joab and his servants with him and all Israel, and they ravaged the Ammonites and besieged Rabbah, but David remained at Jerusalem. What do you mean you ravaged the Ammonites? Oh my God. They did not ravage the Ammonites. They slew them. They killed them. They took them out. Okay, they wiped them out. They didn't ravage nobody. Okay, it happened late one afternoon when David arose from his couch and was walking on the roof of the king's house. Y'all know the story. That he saw from the roof a woman bathing, and the woman was very beautiful. And David sent and inquired about the woman, and one said, "Is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite?" Okay, so they warned David before everything went down. Like, that's Uriah's wife. What are you sending her for? Let us in on a secret. Why are you going after her? Okay. So David sent messengers and took her. And then she when they came after her, she did not. And she came, what's it say here? And she came to him, and what? He lay with her. Then it says, now she had been purifying herself from her uncleanness. Okay, so that's close, but not close enough. So the ESV did better here than the CSB, the NASB, and the MEV. Okay, the ESV did better here than them two. Now she had been purifying herself from her uncleanness. So Was she purifying herself after or before? I'll show you in the New King James. Then she returned to her house, and the woman conceived, and she sent and told David, I am pregnant. Okay? Now, let me go open this up. And I'm going to put the New King, I'm going to put the King James over here. I'll show you. This is why, oh, gee, what are you doing? Okay, I see what we're doing. Okay, we got the KJV right here. Do we have a KJV or is it just KJV? I want to make sure we're using the authorized version, even though it don't matter, they both say the same thing when it comes to that. Alright, we'll just go to KJV. Where is it? Alright, yeah. I should have. Okay. Where'd you go? Alright. Keep passing it up. There it is. There. Alright. So we got KJV on my right, and I'm going to put the MEV right here. Okay. Now what's it say in the KJV? When we get down to, and it came to pass in an eventide that David arose. What copyright is this? This here one, they don't tell you, or do they? Oh, this is the authorized. Okay, this is 1769. It's the authorized. Okay. All right. And it came to pass in an eventide that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house, and from the roof he saw a woman washing herself, and the woman was very beautiful to look upon. And David sent and inquired after the woman, and she said, and one said, is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? And David, and David sent messengers and took her, and she came in unto him, and he lay with her. See this word right here, this word right here, this word right here. For she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned unto her house. So what this is saying is that David took her, and she came in unto him, and he lay with her. How? For she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned unto her house. So it is very clear here in the King James that because she was purified from her uncleanness, which is the New King James says it best, her purification rites, okay, that he lay with her, because she'd have never went with the men if she was not, if her purification was, if her cycle was active, okay. Now, what do we got here? I think we have the MEV here. Okay, let's look at it here. Okay. One evening when David arose from his bed. Okay, you can get off of there. Get off of there. Get off. Go away. What is that? Get down. Thank you. One evening when David arose from his bed and was walking on the roof of the king's house, from the roof he saw a woman bathing, and the woman was very beautiful. So David sent someone to inquire about the woman, and it was asked, is this not Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah? So David sent messengers and took her, and she came to him, and he lay with her, period. When she had purified herself from her uncleanness, she returned to her house. Now, if they had to put a comma there, it would have made more sense. But they put a period there. That a period? Yes. That's period. If they had put a comma there, it would have changed everything. But they put a period there. And I'm going to show you why. When she when she had purified herself from her uncleanness, she returned to her house. So according to this, after David slept with her, she purified herself from her uncleanness and then returned to her house. The woman conceived, so she sent a message and reported to David, I am pregnant. Okay? This is off, okay? Now let's go. Let's look at it in. I'm going to go to the New King James last. Let's go to the NASB. Let's go to the NASB. Okay. I'm not going to go through all of them because they all say the same thing. Here it is. Mine right here, the NASB 2020. Okay. I wonder. Hold up. Let me go back to that. Let me go back to that. Let me see what the. Let me see. I know what the 98 says because I know what the 2020 says because I got one. I want to see. They have an NASB 1995. Let's make sure it says the same thing. Now when evening came, David arose from his bed and walked around on the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman bathing, and the woman was very beautiful in appearance. So David sent and inquired about the woman, and one said, Is this not Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? David sent messengers and took her, and when she came to him, he lay with her, and when she had purified herself from her uncleanness, she returned to her house. This is worse than the MEV. So David sent and inquired about the woman, and one said, Is this not Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? David sent messengers and took her, and when she came to him, he lay with her, and when she had purified herself from her uncleanness, she returned to her house. But see, David sent messengers and took her, and when she came to him, he lay with her. And when she had purified herself, so after he lay with her, and when she had purified herself from her uncleanness, she returned to her house. The woman conceived, and she sent and told David and said, I am pregnant. And the 2020, I have it here, says the same thing. So I'm going to move on. I just wanted to see if there was a difference there, okay? We got to go like way back into the early 90s and the 80s to see a difference. Okay, so we went there. I showed you the MEV. Let me show you the amplified. I'm going to show you both amplifieds now. Okay. I'm going to show you. No, I'm going to take you to the Geneva. I'm going to show you where the Geneva and the new amplified tried to do the same thing that Geneva tried to do. I'm going to show you the Geneva and the it'd be nice if they just kept things in alphabetical order. There you go. Alright, now look here. I'll show you what the Geneva did. And when it was eventide, David arose out of his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's palace, and from the roof he saw a woman washing herself, and the woman was very beautiful to look upon. And David sent and inquired what woman it was, and one said, It is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, wife of Uriah the Hittite? And David sent messengers and took her away. And she came unto him and lay with him. And then it says, like another translation that I just read to you, now she was purified from her uncleanness. Was she purified from her uncleanness because she slept with David? See how it's written? They put that in parentheses like that. That's not helping. Now she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned unto her house. and the woman conceived. Therefore she sent and told David and said, I am with child. Okay, so that's the Geneva. That's going back in time before the 1611 King James. The 1611 King James and the King James say the same thing. Let's go to now. I think the NIV tried to help too. It tried to do a little bit different. I don't know what year this NIV is. I don't think this is the newest one. This is 2011. Oh yeah, that's the most recent. The most recent is 2011, I believe. So let me see. One evening, One evening, David got up from his bed, walked around on the roof of the palace. From the roof, he saw a woman bathing. The woman was very beautiful. David sent someone to find out about her. The man says, she is Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, and the wife of Uriah the Hittite. This is wrong. This is wrong. Again. Oh my God. This stuff is important. No, the way it's written in the older versions let you know that they warned David what he was getting himself into. They asked a question here. But here it says, okay, David asked about the woman, and the man said, she is. No, they said, isn't this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam? That question is very important because they were warning David, not just letting him know. Isn't this what it says in the other versions? But here it says, she is Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, and the wife of Uriah the Hittite. Then David sent messengers to get her. She came to him, and he slept with her. Now, there it goes again. Now she was purifying herself. I hate when I flip up. It pops all the way up here. Now she was purifying herself from her monthly uncleanness. I like the way it says monthly uncleanness because that's what we're talking about here. But this is in the wrong part. Before, you'll see in the New King James. Then she went back home. The woman conceived and sent word to David saying, I am pregnant. Okay? Nice translation, but translated it wrong. Okay? So that's the NIV. We did the NASB. We did the Geneva. Let's do the Amplified now. First I'm going to do the New Amplified, then I'm going to do the Old Amplified as I get to the New King James. I'm going to do New King James last. We got both Amplifieds in here. We got the Amplified, okay. I'm going to do this Amplified first. This is the 2015 Amplified. We'll do the 98 Amplified in a minute. Okay. Now, they tried to help here. One evening, David got up from his couch and was walking on the flat roof of the king's palace, and from there he saw a woman bathing, and she was very beautiful in appearance. David sent word and inquired about the woman. Someone said, is this not Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? Okay, David sent messengers and took her. When she came to him, he lay with her, and when she was purified from her uncleanness, and when she was purified from her uncleanness, she returned to her house. The woman conceived, and she sent word to David, I am pregnant. That is wrong. You don't purify yourself while you're at the man's home that you're sleeping with, that you're committing adultery with. You do that before you get there. And that's what she did. That's the truth of what happened. So that's the New Amplified, the 2015. Let's go to the old one, and then we're going to go to New King James, and we'll be done. Gotta find it here. No, it's here somewhere. The heck did it go? Might have to go to the download because I thought I had to download it. Okay, here it is. Amplified Classic Edition. Here we go. Now watch this. One evening David arose from his couch and was walking on the roof of the king's house, and when from there he saw a woman bathing, and she was very lovely to behold. David sent and inquired about the woman. One said, there it is, there's that question, is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? That's important. And David sent messengers and took her, and she came into him, and he lay with her. See that right there? See a little dash, and then it says, for she was purified from her uncleanness. Then she returned home. Then she returned to her house. For she was purified from her uncleanness. Then she returned to her house. Okay? Now, let's look at it finally in the New King James. New King James says it best. Let's go to the New King James. Yeah. Here we go. New King James does the best job of this. Okay? And it happened in the spring of the year, at the time when the kings go out to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him and all Israel, and they destroyed the people. They destroyed the people of Ammon. They didn't ravish, they didn't rape nobody, they didn't ravish nobody. And they destroyed the people of Ammon and besieged Cap Rabbah. Ammon is part of Rabbah. Okay? So they destroyed the people of Ammon, and they besieged the whole entire area. But David remained in Jerusalem. Then it happened one evening that David arose from his bed and walked on the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman bathing, and the woman was very beautiful to behold. So David sent and inquired about the woman, and someone said, is this not Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? Then watch this. Watch this, okay? Then David sent messengers and took her, and she came to him and lay with him, for she was cleansed from her impurity. And she returned to her house, and the woman conceived. So she sent and told David and said, I am with child. Okay? So, that is very, very important. Very, 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 very important. Okay, very, very, very important. And this is where we're at with, it's little things like that. The NIV took it upon itself to change a question into a statement. You don't get to do that. Not only did it get it wrong when she was purified, okay, but it got it wrong also when she what his messengers told him, okay. And these little things, these little tidbits in the modern versions, they add up, and it causes King James onlyism is what it causes. I blame what we have available to us today why we have a problem with King James onlyism. Because when if Gail Riplinger talks about this, she got you. If Sam Gibb or Ruckman talk about this, they got you. Because you screwed up. Now, let's go to what this is all about. It's in Leviticus. No, I want to keep my New King James. Sorry. Take us back. I want to go to here. I want to go to Leviticus. I don't know why these can't be in the order they are in the Bible. Why they gotta be tampering with them like this? Where's Leviticus? JL. Lamentations, Leviticus. There it is. Alright. Leviticus chapter 15. This is what her purification is about. Alright. Laws concerning I think we're starting at verse 19, I believe. Okay. Alright, let's start here at 16. If any man has an emission of semen, then he shall wash all his body in water and be unclean until evening. And any garment and any leather on which there is semen. So if you ever wanted to know what's wrong with masturbation, it goes back to the book of Leviticus, where, if you have an emission of semen, don't do it. You'll be unclean. It's unclean to masturbate. Just letting you know. And any garment and any leather on which there is semen, it shall be washed with water and be unclean until evening. This is like a woman going on her period. You're just as unclean as she is. Okay? Also, when a woman lies with a man and there is an emission of semen, they shall bathe in water and be unclean until evening. Okay? If a woman has a discharge and the discharge from her body is blood, she shall be set apart 7 days. And whoever touches her shall be unclean until evening. That is why she waited. Or that not she waited, but that is why she went with David. If she had been on her period, David wouldn't have had to work. That's why he put stuff like that in the Bible. Because if she had been on her period, she would have told David's men, I'm on my period, I can't leave the house. Okay, whoever touches her shall be unclean until evening. Everything that she lies on during her impurity, see that word, impurity, shall be unclean. See that word, unclean? Also, everything that she sits on shall be unclean. Whoever touches her bed shall wash his clothes and bathe in water and be unclean until evening. And whoever touches anything that she sat on shall wash his clothes and bathe in water. Hey, when I hit that, and I tell her, and whoever touches anything that she sat on, thing bed, blah, 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 touches and be unclean until evening, and bed on which she lies shall be unclean. If a woman has a discharge of blood for many days, other than at the time of her customary impurity, or if it runs beyond her usual time of impurity, all the days of her unclean discharge shall be as the day of her customary impurity. She shall, I hate when I hit that little clip and it just knocks us way up here somewhere. Okay. If a woman has a discharge of blood for many days, other than at the time of her customary impurity, or if it runs beyond her unusual time of impurity, all the days of her unclean discharge shall be as the days of her customary impurity. She shall be unclean. Every bed on which she lies, all the days of her discharge shall be to her as the bed of her impurity, and whatever she sits on shall be unclean, as the uncleanness of her impurity. Whoever touches those things shall be unclean. He shall wash his clothes and bathe in water and be unclean until evening. Okay? But if she is cleansed of her discharge, then she shall count for herself 7 days, and after that she shall be clean. So, when we read that story in 2 Samuel, she was pure for 7 days before David's men came and got her. And on the 8th day, that's the day David's men probably came, she shall take for herself 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons and bring them to the priest Okay, young pigeon. And bring them to the priest to the door of the tabernacle of meeting. Then the priest shall offer the one as a sin offering and the other as a burnt offering, and the priest shall make atonement for her before the Lord for the discharge of her uncleanness. But instead of her doing this, she was making out with David. Okay? Instead of her doing this, she was having sex. She was committing adultery with David. Okay? So there you have it, folks. There you have it. This is just bad. Very, very bad. We need to really reconsider. We really need to, like I said, we already had the preservation of God's Word. We already had a good Bible. All we needed to do was focus on every so many years making that one Bible perfect. We should have never ever came to, us making a big deal because we thought that the King James... See, and all that's wrong because the verses and chapters were added by those Bible versions that were Textus Receptus. It was Geneva, I believe, that had the first Textus Receptus Bible to have chapters and verses. Okay? They added the verses, and then somewhere around the time of Westcott and Hort, they started to say, well, some of these verses don't belong in the Bible. Okay? So, you did go in and take out the whole verse. You did not take out the content. You just removed the verse because you didn't agree with it. Because the verses were put where? Okay, the Geneva came out in 1599. 1599 or 1559, one of the two. Okay? Westcott and Hort came out in 1881. So, it was after the Bible had been here for years before they decided that these verses don't belong in the Bible, before they decided to have all these issues. They created these texts. Whether they created them from the manuscripts or not, or from their own, but even after they saw the manuscripts, they still made their own, their own way of interpreting what they read in the manuscripts, okay? And what they interpreted, they put in the text. And what they felt belonged there, regardless of what the manuscript says, they put in the text, the new text. Now, don't get me wrong, Erasmus made decisions too. But look at the decisions that he made compared to the decisions that you're still making today in modern versions. Look at the decisions that Erasmus made compared to the decisions that you're making in modern versions today. You're still making them. And James White said, will never be done. We're going to constantly be moving. We're going to constantly be changing. Oh, I want what the apostles wrote. Oh, okay, so let me get this straight, James White. You got your LSB Bible. Oh, I forgot that. Let me get out of here. Because there ain't no LSB in here. So let me go to, let me get out of here too. Let me get out of there. Okay. Alright, let me find myself a Let me go to internet here. I think that's where I left at. Okay. Put this over here. All right. Let's see here. Let's go to this one. Let's go Bible Gateway. I don't want to have to go somewhere and then got to clock out of there. Alright. Legacy Standard Version. Where are we going? We're going to go to 2 Sam 11. Okay. 11. Alright. We got some dumb advertisement here. Come on. Stop. Come on. Stop. Get over here. Alright. Alright. Here's the new LSB version. I think this is the newest version. What's the copyright on this? Copyright. What's copyright? 2021. This got to be the newest Bible out other than the MEV. Okay. Now what's it say here? Now when evening came, David arose from his bed and walked. I don't know why this mouse is getting stuck here. This mouse does not like BibleGateway.com. Now when evening came, David arose from his bed and walked around on the roof of the king's house, and from the roof he saw a woman bathing, and the woman was very beautiful in appearance. So David sent and inquired about the woman. David went and sent and inquired about the woman, and one said, "Is this not," very good, "Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite?" Then David sent messengers and took her, and she came to him, and he lay with her. And when she had purified herself from her uncleanness, she returned to her house, and the woman became pregnant and sent and told David and said, "I am pregnant." Now, let me say, and he lay with her, and when she had, see, that's wrong, and when she had purified herself from her uncleanness, she returned to her house. No, and when she was purified from her uncleanness, or because she was purified from her uncleanness, she lay with her, and then she was sent to her house. She went back to her house. So none of these versions have it right. The only two versions out of everything I just read was the 1998 Amplified Bible, the New King James, and the King James. Okay, because what happens? What happens is people just get it wrong, and they just, they're not taking the time. When you take, like, let's say a couple years or more to translate a Bible, like I think the King James took 7 years to complete it. The New King James took 5 or something like that. When you take time to really sort through a text and really fix what needs to be fixed everywhere, okay, the MEV didn't do that. I believe the MEV was pressured to rush a translation, and that's why it just said, okay, well, let's take this from this text because we don't have time to sort through, the King James text, and all that. Let's just sort through this text because this is the most popular text. How bad can the Hebrew be? And they just, stamped it on there. But, they didn't really. There in every translation, there are issues. And what you should be doing is what you should be doing in every translation is you should be what you should be doing in every translation is you should be making sure it's better than the translations before it. You don't just make another translation. You make sure it's better than every translation before it. But the problem is we got too many translations. They thought, regardless of what James White says, they thought we were done in 1769. They thought that was it. They thought they said, oh yeah, there are better ways to translate stuff, but they were not expecting Westcott and Hort. They figured if a new translation came out, it would touch bases with the Textus Receptus. It wouldn't be totally against the Textus Receptus. See, James White ain't telling you that. He's saying, oh, well, if Erasmus had what we had today, and I believe he would be on my side. And no, he wouldn't. Erasmus was not expecting Westcott and Hort. He was not expecting you in 2025 to be sitting there saying the King James, is unintelligible. You know what I'm saying? We have the LSB now. Move over, King James. We don't need you anymore. But you can't even get a simple thing like Bathsheba's impurity correct. You can't do a simple thing like that. In every Bible, including this MEV, that uses the New King James says, look, we're giving you the footnotes. We're going to put you in the footnotes. But as far as the text, we are totally Textus Receptus. We are totally Masoretic text. No compromise. MEV didn't do that. The MEV decided to go for what was easier to grasp, what was easier to translate, what was easier to just throw in there because they were receiving pressure from the people and they want to continue the process. And maybe within another 5 years they have planned to do another update. I don't know. But I got a feeling that as this keeps getting updated, if it even makes it to another update, it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. This is not using the King James as the base manuscript, because if it was using the King James as the base manuscript, they might be doing that for the Textus Receptus, whereas no, they're not doing that for the Textus Receptus. In certain places, like for example, Philippians chapter 2, they're not in line with the Textus Receptus. Okay, and in a number of places in the Hebrew, they're not in line with the King James. So there you have it, folks. I know this is a long one, but I wanted to show you this, and thank you for watching. And all I'm asking is that you start to really study your Bible. Stop looking at what's modern and look at what's true. Stop looking at what's modern and what's true. So the next time you get a Bible, next time you buy a Bible, when a new translation comes out, Do me a favor. Go to 2 Samuel chapter 11 and see when Bathsheba was purified. After she slept with David or before? Did she wait a month in David's house after sleeping with him and then was pure so she could go home and sleep with her husband? Read the story. Uriah was dead before he ever slept again with his wife. He was dead, never knew that David slept with his wife. And the fact that she was pure before the men came and got her. That means one or two things or both. It means that she knew the assignment. She knew what was about to happen, number one. Or it wouldn't happen if she had been on her period. If David had just been 7 days earlier, it wouldn't happen because she'd have said no. Or both. But a lot of people are adding into the story, and sometimes translations are adding to the story. No, don't do that. Just like the NIV. This is why I don't read the NIV. What the NIV do? They turn a question into a statement. No, it is very important that questions are questions and statements are statements because they are significant. That's not the way you make the Bible easier to read. We can read that they asked David a question. Isn't this the wife of Uriah the Hittite? So in other words, David. They're implying here in the verse that they're warning David. David, ain't that Uriah's wife? I mean, David, he works for you. He's part of your army. He's one of your favorite warriors. Ain't that Uriah's wife? Ain't her dad Eliam? And David said, go get her, bring her here. I need to talk to her. So if you read it in the right text, you can pretty much see what happened. And you ain't got to sit there and say, oh, well, David raped her and she was on the roof and she was purposely, and no, you just need to read it from the right text. You need to read it from the right text. There's more problems with our modern translations of today than just variants within the text. Forget about the manuscript because you ain't translating off the manuscript anyway. You're translating off the text. I noticed MEV didn't go to the manuscript. It went straight to the text because it translated just like what's already there instead of going back in time to what it's claiming to be a sole product of. It's not a sole product of the King James. It just, where's the hammer? Where's that hammer thing that they use in court? No, I found you guilty, MEV. In 2 Samuel chapter 11, I find you guilty. I find you a liar when you claiming that the King James was the base manuscript for this Bible because in the King James, she was already pure before David came and got her. I'm out. Thank you for watching. Talk to you soon with more.